Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. I would like to thank our able executive for being with us here on this adjournment debate. Madam Speaker, I would like to raise some concerns in my constituency before I come to national issues. Madam Speaker, Mandori, they have a new lower basic school which got a land now. I want to I want to bring to the notice of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education that they need a structure, because the structure that they are using now belongs to a madrasa. So I want Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to take note of that. Madam Speaker, the other school is Dobo School. Dobo School is very far from Salikeni, almost 9 to 10 kilometers. And the new policy is saying that no child should walk more than 2 kilometers. Now, Dobo has a primary school or lower basic, which needs to be upgraded to a basic cycle so that their children will not take the risk of traveling from Dobo to Salikeni or from Dobo to Bani. Madam Speaker, coming to University of the Gambia, higher education, students are given scholarship, but they lack the necessary tools, educational tools. The scholarship doesn't have the package of laptops, so that they can be able to do their assignments. I want the ministry to consider that in the scholarship, let them try to help the students with the laptop. Madam Speaker, coming to human rights, the government of the day, including the parliament, took giant steps to ensure that Human Rights Commission is launched and to ensure that human rights are respected in this country. But Madam Speaker, coming to mental ill people that are not mentally okay, they are human beings and they deserve right to be protected. And we have only one psychiatric center in the Gambia. And there was a time an incident occurred there. They started killing each other. So there is no protection at that center. And the center should be decentralized. Imagine if somebody is mentally ill in Basi, how to take all the risks to bring the person to Tanga here. So it's high time government to consider these minorities in our society. They deserve a better life. They don't need to be treated like people who are not socially important again. They could be helped, supported, and they can recover. And we have to know that all of us, one way or the other, we are mentally affected. I don't know whether it comes ceremoniously or whatever it is. Madam Speaker, coming to security, a lot has been invested in the security sector reform. Madam Speaker, it's really disheartening to see to read that young people leave the coast of Bara, going to Europe, and almost 60 of them drown. So that tells us that we have a security lapse in this country. Where are the fire service men and women? Where are the police in Bara? This is a question that we need to ask. So when we say security reform, we don't mean only taking gun or arms from the security men, then we say we are secure. Or when there is no demonstration and protest in the country, we are secure. No. These are some of the things that we need to look at fundamentally. Madam Speaker, I will come to climate change. Climate change is real, and we have seen to it that our little forest cover is also threatened with, I don't know how we're going to call them, whether hackers or forest butchers in the name of so-called economic gains. So this needs to be stopped. The Ministry of Environment needs to come with a holistic approach, how to ensure that the forests that are destroyed, how to recover them. The Dobo forest in Central Baribu is all cutting down. It's a mere bush. So we don't have any forest cover in North Bank region. Madam Speaker, coming to fishery, I talk about the fishing centers in the Gambia here. Salikanye can be able to feed the whole Gambia if support is given to the youths. Kerewane is the same. Balengo is the same. But there is nothing that is happening in those tenders. The tenders are dying now. We only depend on local fish called Yai Boy from Senegal. So we better think as a country how to ensure that we add nutrition to the life of the people. These are some of the things that we need to invest into. We talk about youth employment. Youth employment cannot come in its own. But these are some of the things that we need to incorporate into our sectors to ensure that youths are gainfully, employed. Madam Speaker, coming to Meet the Farmer Store. Madam Speaker, Meet the Farmer Store is a constitutional requirement, which I believe should be used to dialogue with the people, to know the projects that have been, carrying out in our various regions, how the progress level of them, what are the concerns of the people, but should not be used as a platform to misinform people, to abuse other people. That's why the honorable member said there is a regime change but not a system change. When we change the system, how can members, honorable members in fact, go on a political platform, presidents talk, to start lambasting leaders of other groups? Is that not creating violence in our society? Is it? And we need to make sure that we dignify ourselves as honorable men and women. If others are doing it, we should not be counted among those people. We need to honor ourselves. We need to make sure that the National Assembly, the image is protected. Madam Speaker, it's disappointing to see a honorable member accusing people without facts, say that they are behind the protest. What are your facts? When you are talking, you need to talk with facts so that you become a responsible citizen. Let us not talk like any ordinary person. That's why they voted for us. We have to be responsible. Madam Speaker, coming to the coalition government, we need to hold them accountable. Madam Speaker, 2016 was historic in the Gambia that we all celebrated. But nobody will beat your chest here and say it was done by you individually. We all contributed. Ask us where were you? We were somewhere fighting. You will not know. You will not know. Somebody must start. And we give credit to those people who started the idea. But the idea was supported by all of us to make sure that, we made a change. And the coalition parties, if anything went wrong in this country, you will be held accountable. Your agreement is here. You made this agreement to the people. The Constitution is here. You have seen the Constitution. Didn't you make reference to the Constitution which says the president shall serve for 5 years? And you went for 3 years. My mom cannot distinguish the Constitution and the agreement. You went to our village, from village to village, you sold the idea to them. People bought the idea. Now time has come to ask you, you should go back to the drawing board and organize yourself and communicate to the citizens. What is fundamental wrong to communicate to people? When you make a mistake, you must accept the fact that you have made a mistake. This country has been existing here for time immemorial, and we had coalitions, we had alliances, we had elections, but nobody talked about 3 years. NAD was here. We formed NAD here, we campaigned here, but nobody said 3 years. This coalition government partners, UDP, DOI, all the 7 political parties, you campaign for 3 years to the people. If you cannot meet your dreams, your objective, your goals, go back to the people simply and say, because of A or B, we couldn't make it, for peace sake. But you cannot sit in your house. You think that, people who are asking for it, they are criminals, they are social, deviants. No. We need to communicate to each other. What will stop us to communicate as decent citizens, to come together? Madam Speaker, the agreement speaks for itself. With your permission, the goal of the coalition is to put an end to impunity and self-perpetuating rule by establishing a constitutional and institutional safeguards and propagate normative values and practices that would ensure the consolidation of participatory democracy, good governance, rule of law, substantive justice, and human rights. That's why we voted for you. The vice president came here last time and said their first cabinet meeting, they met and they all agreed to rule for 5 years. Why not you communicate to the people when you made that agreement? You should have told the whole country again and tell them that, yes, we campaigned for 3 years, but because of human rights, because of TRLC, because of the engagement, we cannot fulfill it. Can you allow us to go for 5 years so that after 5 years we can have election? We all know that the Constitution says 5 years. But you went for this thing. You know the reason why you went for it. If you cannot defend it today, if people come out, address them with respect and dignity. Tell them that it's not realistic. It's not doable. But it's their fundamental right to come and ask you that time has come. We are not agitating for war. We are not propagating for war, but dialogue must take place. National Assembly members who are part of the coalition were one time engaged by UNDP. And I believe permanent secretaries and other stakeholders were engaged so that Gambia to look at this issue. It's a critical issue. We are all informed. Knowledge now is everywhere. You can fool some people sometime, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Time has come for Gambians to think consciously and solve our own problems before other people will solve it for us. There is need for national dialogue. Call for national dialogue, the coalition parties. If not, we hold you by neck. They are here. The coalition parties, they form this coalition. If you cannot pull well with each other, come back to the Gambian people. But you cannot leave the cooking pot on fire, and now it's burning. Now you want to go away and say it's 5 years. No. Madam Speaker, going further,
you have 3 more minutes.
Yes. Madam Speaker, coming to Somaliland, last adjournment debate, most of our colleagues talk about Somaliland. So we also tried to investigate or to do research on Somaliland. But we came to understand that Somaliland at point in time had a kind of a federation or a kind of a merger with main Somalia. Now, and we believe that they are Africans, since we are championing the cause of other people outside Africa. When we can have a good friendly relationship with the people of Cuba, what of our own brothers in Somaliland? So I think the executive and the parliamentarians, it's high time we look at the issue of Somalia, we see how best we can come to their aid. I thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the time.
Thank you.